your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
That heavily reduced most favored nations cost. Americans can expect discounts, and as I said, it could be in many cases way over 100%. And as an example, one particular drug that's hot, very hot, 654% on inhalers, COPD and asthma, as well as certain diabetics medications. They're going to be averaging about 654% reduction in price.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, crap. Did I do this wrong? Uh-oh. Guys, hold on. Hold on. What did I do wrong? God. There I am. We already got some mess. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? This is what happens when you write, produce, direct, do everything yourself because you can't afford help. I am not Don Lemon. I do not have an entire production team. I'm by myself. Welcome to Political Theater with Dr. T. Thank you for joining the live stream. Always happy when you guys are here. I mean, I would do it whether I had one person or 1,000 people, just because I like talking to my computer about the things that are on my mind. It's Friday, October 10th. I'm hoping everybody is all right. You know, as all right as you can be. Thank you, Katie. Cuter than Don Lemon. I like to think so. I like to think so. I ain't got no jewelry, no makeup. I ain't doing my hair, but you know, I like to think. I'll make you Don Lemon. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Yeah, you know, Don, I watch Don every day. I watch Drunk Don. I watch Don on the street. But he's always rides the middle. He's a little bit more this way now that he's independent, but he still rides the middle. Everybody's out there. Everybody's doing what they got to do. People are surviving. People are barely making it. And that's okay. Oh, PhD in finance. We're going to put that up there. Man, need to see that. Got that doctorate in fine shit. She fine. Yeah, we're still in a government shutdown. And that's important, right? Shout out to all the government workers. I was just watching a clip. I'm not going to again, you know, I've decided that there's certain things that are just dehumanizing in ways that I don't need to put on my show. And also I need to reduce the number of flags they put against me for showing third-party content. But I just literally 20 minutes ago, just watched a clip of military folks in line at a food pantry to get food. Okay. And that is definitely commentary. It's a statement of where we are, right? They promised the military that they would not lose their pay. They promised them that they would be taken care of. But they were reporting from this food pantry. Excuse me. And it's not the only one. Military folks should not ever have to rely on food pantries to eat. I am fundamentally against the military. I'm against it. I'm against it for every nation. I'm against this whole militarized world that we live in. However, I also understand people doing the best they can with what they got and people making do. And so that's why I don't you never see me attack the individual people who have served in the military unless they are those psychotic, dumb Marine bros that just like to go and kill and slaughter and rape and pillage. Then I'll talk about them. You're never going to see me be like hateful towards individuals and stuff when it comes to the military. Absolutely not. In fact, I know that this country, as we can see right now, as evidenced by what the country is doing, is they're forcing people into the military, right? They are making it so that college is so beyond affordable for the average family that many families are turning to military service because they cannot afford to send their kids to college, right? Please understand that that is all intentional, right? The fact that they primarily recruit in lower income neighborhoods, lower income schools, and they set up shop there is like basically, you ain't got no other options, right? Come risk your life for the United States. And they make all these promises and all these guarantees. And yet I've worked with enough veterans to know that there is no guarantee when it comes to service in the United States military. Excuse me. My dad is a veteran. My dad served 31 years, Air Force, and even he's disgusted with what's going on now. He watched the speech with the generals, and my 75-year-old father, who deals with some brain issues or whatever, even he was cognizant enough to recognize that this is complete and utter bullshit. So shout out to the people that are the service people, but you should not have to stand in line in a pantry to get food to feed your family when you don the uniform to protect and serve the United States of America. So there's that. All right, let's hop into some things. We got a few things to talk about before I get into my longer thing. You may have heard that they announced a new Nobel Peace Prize winner today, and that is what I'm going to talk about in our long story. So I'll make my way to that, but we just know that Trump did not win. I don't think anybody thought he was actually going to win. Well, okay, I'm going to amend that. I think anybody with 3 working brain cells was clearly able to figure out that Donald Trump was not going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Donald Trump has not done anything worthy of a Peace Prize at all. He's as worthy of it as Obama was. And well, I guess I see why some people thought he might get it, because they love that Obama got it when he absolutely did not deserve it. There are people that are actually out there in the world doing things to make the world peaceful, but the Nobel Peace Prize does not want to honor those people, it seems, anymore. What they want to do is provide it to people who align with Zionism, who align with right-wing nonsense, and who, probably are blackmailing them, right? We have to assume that everything that happens in the Trump universe is a result of blackmail or coercion of some sort. And the reason why I say this is because I'm from the streets, and I'm not going to get too deep into some of my street activities, but I know the fear that I see in some of these people's eyes. Pam Bondi is one of them. She's in deep. I don't know what her husband has done. I don't know if she found her husband's name on the list, but she is in deep, okay? And you could see it, that woman's eyes. You remember that line Biggie said, your daughter's tied up in a Brooklyn basement, face it, not guilty? That's happening with a lot of people, not just in the United States, but around the world. You know what? I said all of that, and I didn't even prepare you, okay? Sometimes we got to go into the conspiracy theories. But it's true. I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. Pam Bondi is being held hostage. Okay, not saying that she was a perfect person before. She let Epstein and get away with it before, but somebody she knows and is connected to is on that damn list. And she didn't know before she saw the list. And that's the thing that's the thing that I think is going to get it. You're right. I got to put thank you for taking care of me, chat, because if it wasn't for you, I'd probably get sued for defamation by yet another person. Shout out to Chris Brown for the frivolous lawsuit against me. Awesome. All right. So here's what happened. Diddy asked for a pardon from Trump. Did we know this is facts? These are facts. There was a conversation where Trump was being asked if he would. I'm sorry, I'm yawning, y'all. I'm just sleeping. I've been exercising. Child, I went to yoga today. Body sounded like Rice Krispies, snap, crackle, and pop. Like, every pose was tired. Anyway, so Trump was talking about pardons, and somebody asked if he was considering Ghislaine, and he gonna act like he know. He said, I haven't heard the name in so long. I can say this, that I'd have to take a look at it. I'd have to take a look. Did they reject that? This is Donald Trump either pretending to absolutely know nothing about Ghislaine, which, come on, folks. Ghislaine was right there with his dude. Ghislaine was at, what's the name, wedding. Geez, I wish I had the clip. It was either one of his weddings or one of them kids got married and Ghislaine was there. I don't know if it was Jared and Ivanka. The bitch was right there. He knows exactly who Ghislaine is. And he was going like, I haven't heard her name in a while. So either he is senile, as many people do think he is, and it could be a combination, or he's really on some more like, if y'all don't stop asking me about this shit, I'm going to lose my mind. It's not happening. You're not getting the files. Drop it. Like he's about to strong arm it. He's about to strong arm it and be like, nah. He's like, nah. And he ain't the only one. I'm telling you, Pam Bondi saw them files. And I'm telling y'all, Pam Bondi probably went somewhere and threw up for a good 35 minutes. And Pam Bondi has not been the same. I don't know if y'all remember what she looked like in the beginning. Sprightly, young, but, boxed blonde and all of that stuff, Well, she's all ready to do her job. And then she was, the whole production of we got the files, got them right on my desk. Everybody's got a binder. The binder had empty pages, but we got it. Pam Bondi before that and Pam Bondi after that are two different people, y'all. That lady looked at them files and saw all the nasty, disgusting shit that Donald Trump and probably her husband were doing, and probably threw up for 35 minutes and was like, oh no. And now she's stuck. All right, but here's the thing. Mike Johnson, blackest name you could possibly have. Mike Johnson, the majority leader. What's what he said? He said, they asked him, should he consider pardoning Ghislaine? He said, I would never even consider it. She's a convicted human trafficker. She was a party to this. She set it up. By her own admission, she was involved in all of this. There's no way she should ever leave prison. That's from Mike Johnson. Supposed to be Trump's guy. And he's like, hell no. Because I'm a Christian. I'm a good gay Christian man. Right? But he said he wasn't going to rule it out. Trump said he's not ruling out a pardon. I want you all to understand something. When we talk about political theater, we're talking about the performance of these bullshit ass, fair weather, flimsy, transparent, thin, veiled politics. We're talking about the performance of their lives. Okay? All these people care about is a steady check, back deals that make them millions that they store in offshore accounts, access to children they can violate, and health insurance. That's all they care about. You know what? Let's just hold this for a while. Because listen, they do not care about the American people. Oh, okay. I'm going to add 5. Some of them care about Jesus in rather twisted ways, but they're pushing the Jesus thing. I agree with you. Sis, I agree with you. The more distractions they bring up, the more I fear what is on those tapes. Shit, my brain can't even fathom. Now, here's the thing, and we talked about this last time. I didn't go too much into it because it's disgusting. But that judge that basically was calling Dylann Ruth's family's victims after he shot up the Mother Bethel? I forgot what the name of the church was in Charleston, South Carolina. Forgive me, y'all. Shot up and killed them 9 people. The judge said that his family were victims too. And what do we find out about the judge? Filthy, disgusting sexual predator of babies. And I'm not saying babies in the, all the kids under 18 are babies. I mean, goddamn babies. That's a judge. He's not the only one. They're all protecting each other. And I know sometimes when we talk about this, it sounds like, oh, you're the crazy person. You know that meme where the guy is like connecting all the things on the board? I would have a board if I didn't have severe attention deficit disorder and I wasn't an Aries who lost interest after 2 days. I probably would have a board connecting all the dots. Remember what I said? I said that QAnon wasn't completely wrong. They had Pizzagate and they said that it was the Democrats that were selling children out of pizza shops, but that's not true. It's the conservatives that are selling them out of churches, selling them from the stand, selling them in the cop cars. That's what's happening. So they wasn't wrong. It is a network. And they all protecting each other. The Epstein files are the tip of the iceberg, folks. And for Trump to be considering Ghislaine at all means that she has something. She has something. Now, when they interviewed her, she was like, oh, he didn't do anything. I was there the whole time. He didn't do anything. Of course, she's going to say that. She was hoping to get pardoned. But when she finds out that they're not going to pardon her, that bitch is going to start talking. She is. She is. Don't let her end up with a terminal disease either. Ooh, they're going to say she got stage 4 lung cancer. That bitch going to start screaming. Who want to listen? I will sell my story to the highest bidder. Live from jail. I'm going to tell you everything that Donald Trump did. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, Diddy did seek a pardon. And Trump said, I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, and he seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well, but when I ran for office, he was very hostile. Sorry, Diddy. You were going for Kamala. Kamala did not distance herself from you. You know, you mind my business. Because, you know, y'all don't like when I talk about your good sister. We are going to talk about it a little bit more in a couple of seconds. But I'm just saying, Trump said, I ain't pardoning you. Yeah, he does. Of course he does. Katie says he's got old videos saying he loves Diddy and they're besties. Of course they are. Sexual predators of a feather flock together. How does R. Kelly fit into this? That's the only person missing right now. The only person missing from this story right now is Robert Sylvester Kelly. Who was he partying with? Was he in the Epstein files? Was he taking Chicago girls and trafficking them over to Jeffrey? We don't know. We don't know. What phone call? I didn't get a call from you. Oh, I did. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call you right after this. You see, this is why you can't let your friends come to your job. Because you see, I'm working. And then my friend comes and says, you're gonna return my phone call. You see how they do me? Wow. Okay. So shout out to Facebook. So, all right. So just today we found out, well, because again, Trump lost the Nobel Prize, just like I lost the Nobel Peace Prize. Yes, his middle name is Sylvester. I also didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. Put a 1 in the chat if you also did not win the Nobel Peace Prize, because for some reason Trump seems to think, or mainstream media, Western media seems to think that Trump was actually in the running. Okay, they had 335 names on the list. 200 and something were individuals, 94 were organizations. For some reason, Donald Trump seems to think his name was even on the list. Guess what? You don't find out who was on the list till 50 years later. I looked it up. Go look it up. They don't let you know. That's just the rules. So I just learned that today. I didn't. How many of you knew that they don't release the official list for 50 years? It's a lot of speculation. Sometimes there's inside people that leak that. I am a nerd. I found that out today. Anyway, so because he did that, what did I say, y'all? I said, matter of fact, I need to pull it up because you all don't listen to me when I talk. I said, let's see, let's search. What's the search function? Let's see, from, let's see, at Feminista, let's see, Feminista Jones. Fuck it, I'm not going to look it up, but here's what I said. I said that y'all prepared. I said, are y'all prepared for basically the wrath that Donald Trump is going to unleash once he learns that he did not win the Nobel Peace Prize? Okay. So what was that ended up happening? He puts 100% tariff on China. In October, right in the middle of spooky season, right before Thanksgiving, right before the holiday season, I said, brace yourselves, because he is going to unleash something. Your man said 100% tariffs. 100%. Let's look at the post. Because my goodness. Shout out to Dr. Hall in the chat. We like to see you here. Good to have you here. Here's what Donald Trump said. You gotta see it for yourself. Y'all think I'm making things up. I'm not making it up. It has just been learned. Okay, so the passive voice is actually killing my spirit. I'm going to shut down Instagram because I have too many streams and it's like making this lag a bit. It has just been learned. By whom? By who? That China has taken an extraordinarily aggressive position on trade with a capital T in sending an extremely hostile letter to the world stating that they were going to, effective November 1st, 2025, impose large-scale export controls on virtually every product they make, and some not even made by them. This affects all countries without exception. It was obviously a plan devised by them years ago. It is absolutely unheard of in international trade and is a moral disgrace in dealing with other nations. The most immoral mother on the planet is talking about moral disgrace. He said, based on the fact, this sounds like talking, based on the fact, you know what I mean? I'm saying based on the facts that China has taken this unprecedented position and speaking only for the USA and not other nations who were similarly threatened. I'm not speaking for them. Starting on November 1st, 2025, or sooner, depending on any further actions or changes taken by China, the United States of America will impose a tariff of 100% on China over and above any tariff that they are currently paying. What was China at? 45? Somebody fact check me. What did he put China at? Because at first China was 150, then it was 100, then it was 45. What did he bring China down to? It was like 45. He put 100 on top of it. Also, on November 1st, we will impose export controls on any and all critical software. It is impossible to believe that China would have taken such an action, but they have, and the rest is history with a capital H. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, just in case we forgot who he was. Okay. So, I thought about that. He wants the Q4 numbers to spike, get everyone to buy now with the government shutdown and layoffs impending an economic crash. I think I agree with you. But here's the thing. Here's where I think he gets it wrong. And I think that he's not the only one, obviously, thinking that. But here's where he gets it wrong. Americans are holding on to their money now because of this government shutdown. The last one lasted a long time, and it hurt us. And I think that even his supporters are seeing the writing on the wall. I didn't think this was going to be a big spending season anyway, because people are feeling the pinch. They are. And now you're going to add this, because what people were going to do, they were going to go to Temu. They were going to go to Temu. How the fuck you pronounce it? I don't know. Temu? I don't know. But they was going to go there. They was going to go to Shein. They was going to go to TikTok. They were going to order cheap gifts to give, because it's the thought that counts. It's not the actual gift. For me, it's the gift. Right? Right, Katie? For us, it's the gift. Because we don't do coffee dates. But for everybody else, it's the thought that counts. So, people was going to go. They was going to get a faulty, flawed Temu cat scratcher that no one could figure out how to assemble. But it was only $14. And they were going to give that to someone. It's not happening no more. Days are over. It's gone. Trump said 100%. Now it's $28. $28 for the faulty cat scratcher. I forgot about Alibaba Express. Correct. That's what's happening. All right. So we did that. All right. So there's another thing that's been happening. Trump has been claiming that, and the administration has been claiming that attacks against ICE have risen 1,000%. I want you all to watch this. Again, I do all of this by myself. I have to do the stage management and everything. All right. Here we go. Let's watch this part, I guess. Okay. Hold on. Oh, crap. That's not what I meant to do. Oopsie. Gotta hit that play button.
3% increase in assaults on ICE agents. Tell me what you attribute that to, and how much of this is rhetoric, as the president says from the far left.
The sad truth to that, we're over 1,000 now. We broke 1,000 last week. And it's very sad, because the men and women of ICE do really great, brave work every day. But I can't attribute it to a lot of the rhetoric that we do here. Anytime it's calling upon doxing of ICE agents or their families, or saying that there's no rest for ICE agents, or even, compare. All
right. So I was just showing you, this is the head of ICE saying that, that she was saying it was like 600 or 800 something percent. He said it's actually 1,000. So remember I posted, I said, well, 1,000% of 3 is 30, right? They're using these percentages to make it seem like it's so much bigger. But the truth is that there's no data to support this. NPR looked into it, and because there was an executive order that Trump put out that says that there was attacks were up. And so an analysis of court records, shows about a 25% rise in charges for assault against federal officers through mid-September compared with the same period a year ago. So now listen. Math wasn't my favorite. So I clearly am a historian, political science girly. I was on the humanities side of things. Math wasn't my strong suit. But I know that 25% and 1,000% are very far apart. They're not the same. Not even close. 25% is a long way from 100, much less 1,000. So now they're saying, hey, yes, it's been difficult for ICE officers because they have this quota, this unreasonable quota. They're burning out. They don't know what to do. They're just picking up anybody because they know that they can bag it and tag it as part of the daily quota, knowing that the majority of the people they picked up will be able to leave, right? They were, I was reading something where they were talking about this. Oh gosh, I should have, sometimes I got to get better at bookmarking things. But basically saying that the ICE agents are definitely overworked. They are feeling the stress. They're not happy with the work that they're doing, mainly because the pressure that they have to just arrest people, a certain number of people. And they're like, there aren't that many people to arrest. So they're basically just picking up anyone that they can maybe possibly justify picking up in case they get recorded, knowing that those people will probably be able to go home, you know, that day. I watched the video of them picking up someone and dropping them off a block later. And it was all recorded because the person is here legally, right? So this is kind of what's been going on here. And so they're making up these numbers to try to justify coming into these cities and going on these rampages and terrorizing people. When the truth of the matter is that none of the cities need any of this. He wants to beat Obama's numbers. He's not going to beat Obama's numbers. Nobody deported more people than Barry. So it's not even coming close. But let me see. Did I have that video? Oh, okay. Yes, we got to look at this one because what the hell? Here we go. Let me show y'all this video. This one is I'm issue a trigger warning. It's ICE arresting somebody, but respectfully, Katie is a white lady. You'll understand. Okay.
What's your name?
Debbie Brockman. I work for WGN. Let them know.
I got you. Yep. Debbie Browning? Brockman. Sir, what's your name? In the back, what's your name? Say that one more time. What's your name? ¿Qué nombre? Sí. ¿Cómo se llama? Sí.
Piece of shit fascists. That's what you both, all three of you are.
Jersey license plates. They're pulling her clothes off of her.
A little out of breath today, huh, fellas?
Super good at your jobs, aren't you? Super good at your jobs. Keep the mask down. Mask down. Oh, you guys get that.
Okay. So what you saw right there was she's a producer and an editor for WGN, and this is from The Independent in the UK. Again, I'm not a big fan of Western media, but I definitely try to avoid US media as much as I can because they're all full of shit. Okay. No necesito aprender nada. Porque ya sé. Anyway. So they were in Lincoln Park in Chicago, and she was detained. She's worked for the local news station, they said, since 2011. She was violently forced to the ground before being cuffed while she was face down. They put the cuffs on her. We all saw that. She was accused of assaulting a law enforcement officer, but we all know that she didn't. And they basically tried to strip her. They took her pants off. They're saying her pants came off. No, they took them off. So just really quickly, you all understand that most of these people that are working for ICE right now in this moment are misogynists who are doing this because they get off on this. They enjoy abusing people. They particularly enjoy abusing women. Like we all agree on this, right? We understand this? Okay, cool. And so they had Jersey plates. You notice those Jersey plates, right? Unmarked cars with Jersey plate, which is so stupid. You're going to drive an unmarked car. You don't cover your damn plate, stupid. It's $200 thing to put the shield on your plate. Again, these are not smart people. These are people that they just hired off the street, and the people who could not qualify for the other positions within ICE. So they relegated them to these on the street bounty hunter types, right? They're out of shape. They have no training. They didn't put them through no basic training, no soldier type training. They just said, oh, you stupid white and you hate women. Here's a gun. Go out there and round people up. You got to find 20 people a day, each person. And that's what they do it, right? Okay. So poor Debbie, they had her out there, on the streets. And, I hope she sues because she didn't do anything, right? She's a citizen. And they made a charge after they realized, oh, we shouldn't have gotten her, all right? And then I didn't like that the station, this is what the station said. They said WGN is aware of the situation and we're actively gathering the facts related to it. Well, the facts are that you saw your producer laying face down with her jeans halfway off her ass, being handcuffed by some violent guys. This is live action Call of Duty. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. I don't know. You all saw the same video I did. I know what I saw. I know what the facts are. But you know what? She's also fat. And white men, they do hate white women, but they definitely hate a fat white woman. And so she may not get as much support and empathy as she deserves. Ooh, and WGN is a concern. Yeah, no, she's out there on her own. They hate women. Absolutely hate women. All right, what else we got? Oh, a federal judge said that they cannot pretend to be Call of Duty. I don't know if y'all caught that. The judge orders restrictions on their tactics against ICE protesters after the Chicago area pastor was shot with pepper balls. I don't know if you all saw that video. There was a pastor out there, totally unarmed, no protection, which is stop going out there with no protection. I'm not victim blaming. I'm just saying, be smarter than that. They out here shooting. They got tear gas, pepper sprays, pepper balls, rubber bullets. They don't care. They're rappelling out of Blackhawks. You can't go out there naked. You got to have protection. Anyway, the pastor got shot in the head. Pop, pop. They was on the ceiling too. They was literally on the ceiling looking like they was holding super soakers. And they was just like, pop, pop. They think it's funny. It's not funny. So the judge, they granted a restraining order. The Chicago Headline Club is a nonprofit that represents journalists alongside unions and individual protesters over federal law enforcement tactics. See, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. We need more of those. So the Chicago Headline Club, something like that should exist in every single city. It's an organization that fights to protect the rights of protesters and other people like that. We need that everywhere. They filed a lawsuit saying that the federal agents have shot, gassed, and detained individuals who have been protesting outside of the ICE detention facility for the last few weeks, which is preventing them from exercising their First Amendment rights. I just want to remind everybody, you have absolutely every right whatsoever to stand in front of an ICE facility and protest. You can hold up a sign, you can yell, you can do whatever you want to do. That is your First Amendment right to do it. Okay, you got that. And just because they're eroding the First Amendment and they're stripping us all of our rights, it does not mean that you don't have the right to do it. But anyway, the judge said, let me see what the judge said. The judge's order blocks federal agents from firing various types of less lethal projectiles and chemical irritants, and from, quote, using force such as pulling or shoving a person to the ground, tackling or body slamming an individual. Well, the judge said, can't do it. And so what's interesting about that, of course, they're going to appeal it. But what's interesting about that is that now that they've made this decision, if the ICE agents do this, then people can sue. They can file suits. The lawsuits that are going to come out of this period in time, I mean, and it's wild because if there's another election and a Democratic president wins, for example, they're going to have to, their DOJ, their ICE, they're the ones that are going to have to deal with paying out all of these lawsuits because of what happened right now, because that's how long it takes those cases, to reach that level. All right. So the judge said that they can't do that. All right, let's go over to our homegirl, Kamala, and then we will jump into Maria Corina Machado. Okay. Your homegirl. I'll just let you watch it. Let's go ahead. It's your girl. Y'all love her. So who am I to take that away from you? That's my bad. Let's go back.
I mean, Doug knows. Sometimes he's like, you can't. You got to just give it a break. Because, because now I have a real phone. So I had a phone, but it really didn't do much because it was so loaded with security. I did not have a camera on my phone for 4 years. I did not have notes. Literally, I couldn't text. And by the way, and then these are out there doing national security secrets. And
Wait, let's watch that again.
I couldn't text.
Watch her mouth.
And by the way, and then these are out there.
Motherfuckers is what she said.
National
One more
security. I
time.
couldn't text. And by the way, and then
These motherfuckers
are
out here
doing
national
security
security
and war
secrets.
plans on Signal. We would get our asses out of bed and go to a skiff or literally go to a secure room to talk about national secrets. And these guys are too lazy. They just want to sit there and do like this. But now that I have a phone,
You can do so.
I'm reading more about current events in DC.
Okay, so what Kamala Harris just told us that she only reads on her phone. She don't read current events if she ain't got her phone. Now that I have my phone, I'm reading more about current events. Now I know what's actually going on in the world. Because I didn't have my phone for 4 years. How'd you all expect me to know anything that was going on? Because I wasn't reading. Oh, jeez. Wait, but you got to hear the rest of it. Come on. You know, I got one more. I got one more.
Helping people just put a label on it, even if it doesn't change the circumstance. Because there's so much about this moment that is trying to make people feel like they've lost their minds. When in fact, these motherfuckers are crazy.
These motherfuckers are crazy. Let's go back.
These motherfuckers are crazy. In fact, these motherfuckers are crazy. In fact, these motherfuckers are crazy. In fact, these motherfuckers are crazy.
We gotta remix that. These motherfuckers are crazy. Y'all know I love using the "We Did It, Joe" gift. That's my new shit. These motherfuckers are crazy. These motherfuckers are crazy. She's talking all this shit now. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Michelle Obama selling her book and wearing braids on her book tour, and then talking about how she couldn't wear braids as the first Black first lady because it would have sent the wrong message or it would have scared people. But on her book tour, she was wearing braids all the time, profiting off of the fact that she sacrificed her cultural connections to appeal to people that hated her and her husband. So because the racists hated you all, you decided to change your hairstyle and not wear a culturally affirming hairstyle. But now you're going to throw it in our face and ask us to buy your book. So reminding us how much of a sellout you are. That's awesome. Anyway. All right. So we're going to go into Machado. I actually wrote something. I put something together because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I want you to get a little bit of a background. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I am going to read the major points that I wrote because I just wanted, it's a lot to piece together. So what am I talking about? Maria Corina Machado, Venezuelan politician who won the Nobel Peace Prize today. And a lot of people were quick to celebrate it, not knowing who she was. Now, I, the radical person that I am very much in tune with a lot of foreign actors, right? I've talked about different folks on this show. I've talked about Ibrahim Traore, for example, whom everybody wants to celebrate. And I'm like, he's one of the fastest rising dictators in the world, right? And so I just brought that out, give you some education. You chew on it, you do what you got to do. And so this morning I woke up and I was just like, I know I don't see people celebrating this. And, for people to admit, hey, I didn't know who she was. Okay, you didn't know who she was. And again, that is, when people talk about, Americans being very American centric and things like that, I always not me, but I'm not like that, right? I am intellectually curious. I do study these things. I do read news outlets and sources that are not American. I do keep up with the politics and things that are going on in Venezuela and South America because I understand that the Nazis have been in South America since the end of the Holocaust. And they are responsible for a lot of the white supremacy that guides the politics down there. I also know that Western media will malign and call anyone a dictator or make them look bad if there's someone that the United States cannot control. Como Maduro right now, they cannot control him. They could not control Chavez. And so they decide, we're going to tell you all, convince you all the same way, you know, with the whole communism thing. They convinced everybody that communism was bad. But because the average American does not care about Latin American or South American or Caribbean politics or anything like that, you all are not going to investigate. You're not going to read. They're not going to teach it in your classes. And unless you seek it out yourself, you're not going to know. Somebody said the things that they don't tell us. And I didn't respond, but my thought was, why do you expect people to tell you anything? Can you not read? Do you not have the same devices that everyone else has? If you wanted to know, you would find out. And that's okay. You may receive that as me chastising you. And it's not that I'm chastising you. I'm just simply reminding you that we are in a period of time right now where you cannot afford to remain ignorant. It is your responsibility to go and learn about these things. What should have triggered this for you if not, anyway, not a long time ago? What should have triggered your intellectual curiosity is when Trump started bombing these ships, claiming that they were drug running and that they were filled with narcotics, yet they have yet to produce anybody that's a head of a cartel. They have yet to show evidence of any drugs confiscated, et cetera, right? That should have sparked something. And you said, well, let me actually familiarize myself with the situation. You know, so anyway, she won today, and I'm just going to read to you some of the things that I have. All right. So Machado has long positioned herself as Venezuelans' most outspoken champion of market liberalism. Okay. And the reason why I'm using this language, because I need you all to understand that liberal means different things in different countries. Okay. And different parts of the world. For her to be considered liberal, it's actually right wing. It's actually the neoliberal accusations that we make of a Kamala Harris, right? When we talked about her being a Republican running, you know, a Republican in Democratic clothing, right? Or we look at an Eric Adams, or we look at those kinds of folks. Those, what's the Senate, PA senator? Katie, help me out. John, what's his name? Oh, the one that lied to everybody, that said he was having mental health issues, and then he won. Fetterman, thank you so much. Okay. Staunch Republican, right? Pulls the wool over your eyes, right? So they say she's a liberal, and the reason why she's considered a liberal is because of her, she's right, and she's free market economics, small states, like she has a small vision of a small state. She aligns with the Western and U.S. interests. Okay, she has the willingness to support. I'm gotta read my own writing. She's the willingness to accept backing from conservative movements abroad, including the United States, MAGA. Okay, so in like 2024 and 2025, she started courting MAGA guys. Okay, her resistance to Nicolas Maduro, which again, most of what you know about Maduro is probably Western lies. I really want you to dig in a little bit. Listen to what the people of Venezuela have to say on all sides, right? That's all I'm going to say. And so she has definitely kind of created this conservative brand, but it's not just conservative because, you know, let's be honest. If you think about the Bush family are conservatives, but they're not extremists, right? They're not the far, far, far right extremists. They're not. They're left of Reagan, but definitely right of center. But she's beyond that. She's like beyond that. All right. So she has like this staunch advocacy for neoliberal reforms, right? They described her as the Venezuelan Margaret Thatcher. Now, I know they taught the Iron Lady in schools, right? Like, people know who Margaret Thatcher is, right? They've compared her and said that she is the Venezuelan Iron Lady. Actually, if you go Google right now, Venezuelan Iron Lady, see what comes up. I'm not making this up, y'all. All right. She favors privatization and shrinking of the state's role in the economy. It's very much against the popular sentiment. The same, let's see, she's economically hawkish. Austerity is a thing. And then she has some kind of tolerance on social issues, which is why some people think, oh, she's not that bad, right? Same-sex marriage, abortion, things like that. But she's still very right economically. And that's why her connection with the US is what it is. And her connection with Israel and her connection with other places, you have to look at it because she's thinking economically. Now, if we juxtapose this to Maduro, we juxtapose this to socialism and communism, which, you know, the West has painted as inherently bad and what have you because of their whole free market economy, she's against that. And that puts her on the right, right? Okay. She's trying to say that, okay, first of all, so what ended up happening was she got banned from running for president. They was like, no, you have issues. And they started citing back to when she met with George Bush, George W. Bush. Friends, when was George W. Bush president? We're talking over 20 years ago. She was meeting with him back then. Because she's been doing this for a while, y'all. She ain't new. She ain't new to this. She was meeting with him back then. And then they were like, well, you are cozied up with, you know, right-wing U.S. folks. You can't run. Sorry. And so she has this party, Vente, and I believe it's, fact check me, Vente, and she appointed another person. The CIA appointed another person. And I just want to cut to the chase, right? This is a CIA operation, okay? Machado so what the United States does is the CIA will go and destabilize governments, destabilize companies by introducing these bad actors and these people that are claiming democracy and talking about freedom a lot. They talk about, you hear them, they'll say democracy and freedom. They'll use those words and you start to perk up and say, yes, democracy, freedom. That's not what they're talking about. That's actually a far right talking point, okay? Because they don't actually believe in that. They are very states' rights. And you notice in the United States, the states' rights people are all about democracy and freedom and don't tread on me until it's time to tread on me, right? And that's where she slightly differs from, you know, the US, is that she does certain social issues. She's like, cool, do what you want, because she doesn't actually care. It's nothing to do with the economy, okay? She wants to get rich herself. She feels like Maduro is stifling. And I'm not going to say he's perfect. He's not. Nobody is perfect. But what is Venezuela's key asset? What is their key thing, everybody? Oil! And anybody, ever since Hugo Chavez told the United States to get the fuck out of Venezuela and get their hands off the oil, the United States has been determined to install one of their plants. Machado is a U.S. plant. And the people she appointed in her stead, since they told her that she couldn't run, those are United States plants, okay? That's what's going to happen. And the United States does this around the world. Barry did it too, okay? You have to understand, the United States uses brute force. They stage coups. They fund coups. They destabilize countries, como Haiti, right? They do this intentionally. They've done it in the DR. They've done it in Cuba. They've done it everywhere. They try to do it in Cuba, but whatever. Okay. So during 2023 to 2024, she won the Venezuelan opposition primary, but she was barred from appearing on the ballot. She shifted from running to rallying, okay? So she was actually responsible for a lot of those. They had sit-ins and stand-ins and protests and things like that. She was, let's see. She really started getting like a groundswell movement. And this was among the right-wing people who were against socialism, Okay. They didn't like that they were trying to take care of the entire country, right? Free market capitalists always want to believe that I deserve to make more money than everybody else, and I don't want to share what I have. So they began supporting her, right? Let's see. What else do I have here? The People's Dispatch, which is from Venezuela, also calls her a neo-fascist. And I think it's really important. Somebody mentioned in the chat all the German names that the people have down there or what have you. But I think you all have to understand how pervasive it is. In Argentina, in about 2 generations, they damn near eradicated all of the African like traits and qualities by importing Europeans and having them intermingle with Argentinians and indigenous people and the white people that had already colonized there to get rid of the blackness. Okay, Argentinians are also among the most racist people on the planet. Chile, Argentina, España, all of them racist as hell. Because it doesn't matter that you speak Spanish. Spanish, French, English, they're all colonized. Portuguese, they're all colonized language. Just because you think that Spanish sounds better or that brown people speak Spanish, that somehow it's a different language. No, it's the same goddamn white ass colonizers, okay, that they've always been. Somebody gonna tell me earlier she's mixed with what? White and kind of white? Fuck out of my face. Anyway, the worst thing about her so far that you can think about is that she is a Zionist. Okay. So she basically told Israel that she looks forward to the opportunity to move Venezuela's embassy to Jerusalem. She wants to have a stronger connection with Israel. She signed an agreement with the Likud party, which is Netanyahu's people, kind of an economic agreement that they had between the two of them. I think this was in 2019. She has been a staunch supporter of Netanyahu and the state of Israel. And even her own people were like the Venezuelan foreign minister was like, the fuck is you saying? Like, we don't support that. That is fascism. That is genocide. We don't do that. She's aligned herself with that. Last month, September 14th and 15th, I believe, fact check me, the Europa Viva. I don't know if people are familiar with this extreme fringe right-wing movement. It is very much like Turning Point. What's that conference that they have, the conservatives have? What's that one called? You know what I'm talking about, where all the top conservative people come out and the president comes to speak and all that stuff. That's like that, Europa Viva. And so it brings together like all these leaders from Europe, these far right influential figures and leaders from these European countries, people that are anti-immigration. They're all about the heritage of Europe, keeping it white. Yes, CPAC. Thank you very much. Keeping it white, all of that stuff like that. They all got together in Madrid. Now here, I every time I talk about Madrid and Barcelona being too like the racist, like Spain is one of the most racist countries on the planet. And I've been to 39 countries. I'm telling you, I would love to go to more, and I am going to go to more. But Spain is easily top 5 most racist country that I've been to. Okay, and don't have brown skin and speak Spanish. They actually want to kill you. It's ridiculous how bad it is. Anyway, they held it in Madrid because right-wing fascism is taking over Spain, okay? Asking all the black people that live there. They'll tell you that. And they all get together. Now, she's supposed to be in hiding, but then she's appearing via video because she's in hiding. They say that they think she's hiding out at the U.S. Embassy in Venezuela. That should tell you everything. The U.S. is harboring her because she is a CIA plant. Okay? Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. If you have African features, they will treat you like complete shit. Okay? So this was just last month. So somebody was talking about, oh, well, I hope she's turned around. I said, no, she hasn't turned around shit. Last month, she happily appeared there along with Javier Milei from Argentina, okay? The one that we just gave $20 billion and bought their pesos to bail them out because they're in a bad economic situation. And the reason they're in a bad economic situation is totally related to the U.S. and the people that are going to profit from that. I posted a link. I'm not going to get into that because that's not what I'm talking about right now. But if you go to my threads that I wrote this morning, I did post a link, a gift article from the New York Times about how this Argentinian bailout is worse than what we think. There are so many wealthy U.S. investors that stand to make a lot of money from this bailout, okay? And the fact that Javier is this extreme right-wing, like super racist guy, that should tell you everything that you need to know. But the two of them coming from South America to meet with these European nations about how to keep out immigrants. And then we also, from the United States, this chick from the America First Policy Forum was also there. And she was talking about closing borders and keeping immigrants out and keeping the integrity of our, all this shit together. It was it was a meeting of neo-Nazis, and Machado was there. So that's who just got the Nobel Prize for Peace. Okay? She supports Israel and his conduct in Gaza. Okay? She's anti-Chavista, with the Chavistas are the supporters of Chavez. She's a CIA plant. She loves Trump. And this stupid bitch thanked Trump for winning. Okay? Hold on. Where's the thing? Because I had it here. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up, y'all, because I'm going to read her words. They might as well have given this to Trump because it's essentially for him. Oh, she says, the recognition of the struggle of all Venezuelans is a boost to conclude our task to conquer freedom. Now, I don't know if that's a language barrier issue or what, but I think she speaks English very well. And she didn't write this in Spanish. To conquer freedom. That's not a slip, y'all. Their task is to conquer freedom, to make sure your ass ain't got none. She says, we are on the threshold of victory, and today, more than ever, we count on President Trump, the people of the United States, the peoples of Latin America, and the democratic nations of the world as our principal allies to achieve freedom and democracy. Again, right-wing talking point, freedom, democracy, all of that. I dedicate this prize to the suffering people of Venezuela and to President Trump for his decisive support of our cause. If the woman is thanking Trump for supporting their cause, what kind of cause do you think it is, folks? Now, a lot of people were all like, yes, girl boss, yes, all women, a Latina, oh my gosh, no, shut the fuck up. Those are the worst people, the people who act against their own interests. I hate a white supremacist black person more than I hate a white supremacist white person. I expect a white person to be white supremacist. You as a black person should not be a white supremacist, right? When I talked to all y'all earlier about my disappointment with Kamala Harris, I was just like, I expect them to be like that, not you, sis. That was the most disappointing thing. You end up being just like them. I hate that more than anything. I expect them to do those things. You were supposed to be different. Same with Barry. Y'all read that bullshit that Barry wrote? Hold on 1 second, because you missed it. So now I'm going to go read it. Hold on. We're going to find it. Because Barry said some boneless shit. I called it boneless verbosity. Let's see what he said here. Here's the statement. Statement by President Obama on Middle East peace, October 9th, 2025. After 2 years of unimaginable loss and suffering for Israeli families and the people of Gaza. Israeli families and people of Gaza. Not families in Gaza, not people of Israel. Israeli families and people of Gaza. We should all be encouraged and relieved that an end to the conflict is within sight, that those hostages still being held will be reunited with their families, and that vital aid can start reaching those inside Gaza whose lives have been shattered. More than that, though, it now falls on Israelis and Palestinians, with the support of the U.S. and the entire world community, to begin the hard task of rebuilding Gaza. No, it does not fall on the Palestinians. Are you out of your mind, Barack Obama? This is not the responsibility of the Palestinian people. They did not do this. The Palestinians did not do this. The IDF did. The state of Israel did. But I guess the bomber in chief, whatever. He says, with the support of the U.S. to begin the hard task of rebuilding Gaza and to commit to that process by recognizing the common humanity and basic rights of both peoples can achieve a lasting peace. This both sides shit wasn't even both sides. Wasn't even both sides. And I'm just like, and the fact that Miss Rachel called him out is she's a both sides person herself. So that was really interesting. But so many people got in her ass about being both sides. I guess she had to say something in order to try to redeem herself or something. Maybe she realized the errors of her ways, right? No, he absolutely is a puppet. He's absolutely is a puppet. That's who he is. That's who he is. That statement was disgusting. But you know what? Those white mom biracials. That wasn't right. But there's a difference. Barry was raised by his white mama. It's a little bit different. He ain't have a big mama for Sunday breakfast or brunch after church. He didn't have that. He ain't got that oil. So he don't know better. His wife couldn't wear braids. Anyway, love y'all. Appreciate you all the time. Machado was not, there's nothing peaceful about Machado. She should not have been nominated, much less selected. They're trying to depict her as a freedom fighter for democracy. And basically what they mean is preserving the right to choose extremely conservative capitalist values and to harm people. But I just want to point out, you can go and look when Maduro called for the people to sign up and join the fight against the United States and their terrorist bombing of boats that they had no proof had anything on them. The people signed up and the people were coming out in droves to support. And so it is what it is. You can go look into that yourself, have your thought, whatever thoughts you want to do. As the right wingers say, do your own research, right? Because if you've done your own research before you type that congratulatory post that you made early this morning, you might have saved yourself some embarrassment. I'm here all week. No, I'm not. I'm here on Tuesdays and Fridays. I appreciate you all. I do have the merch. I got to show the merch. Hey, I got a QR code. I got a QR code, folks. Look at it. It's a QR code. If you're watching on your television, you can scan the QR code. Take you right to the merch page. I'm trying to upgrade, folks. I'm trying to upgrade. I'm trying to step into the 21st century. But anyway, you go to feminicejones.com/merch. I did add some new stuff. This weekend, I'm going to be adding, I don't know about this weekend, maybe Monday, because I do have a couple of things to do this weekend. But I'm going to be adding some new Transgender for Everyone merch, because that's what they keep saying everybody wants. And hey, why not? Transgender for Everyone. So I'm going to have some Transgender for Everyone merch. I'm going to be working on some stuff that might just be exclusively for wallpaper. I don't know. But the gifts are coming up. And so, you guys will be able to get some stuff for the holidays. The whole China thing is weird, but this is printed here and all the stuff is made here in the United States. So you should be okay. Definitely check out the merch. You might find a really cute gift, a political gift. I'm going to be dropping some more stuff. Thank you all for your support every time. Cash App is Fem Jones. Venmo is also Fem Jones. PayPal is contact@feminicejones.com. I appreciate you all for the support that you give when I come out here on Tuesdays and Fridays to bring you my thoughts about the news and all that great stuff. You keep me from talking to myself, and I really appreciate it. Also, I drop my film reviews on Fridays. Professor Cinephile on YouTube. You could look it up and you could check. I just did one of Ruth and Boaz, a really not good film that is on Netflix. But, I do a lot of stuff. I'm all over the place. You subscribe to my Patreon. That also supports this. If you don't want to just give like a one-time donation with the Cash App, you subscribe for $1 a month. That $1 a month is consistent. $3 a month is consistent. $5 a month is consistent. All of those things help me keep a roof over my head. I appreciate you as I struggle with the adjunct life and putting a kid through college. All of your support means everything. I am too old to be doing all this stuff, but I am, and it's important. I love you all. I love you all with the spirit of revolution. I love you all with freedom. I love you all with the sense of community, and I want us to all be okay. So let's keep it going. Share your news about this. Tell people that you love my show. And they ask you, what's your favorite political, source for this kind of stuff? Tell them it's me. Or, say I'm one of your favorites. I really appreciate that. And I love that you spread the news. We get new people here every time. And so that makes me feel good. If it's just one new person every show, then it makes me feel good. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. And if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 5,000 by the end of the year. Love you. Bye, everybody.